This story is a work of fiction. Similarities between characters or events to persons living or dead in your world are purely coincidental. Only those who have agreed to the above have the privilege of partaking in this game. I see. Everything that happens from here on in is
Welcome to Our
real.
Frame Production. My name is Chris,
Cognition
and
of
today
this?
we're playing
Then
Persona 5,
unfortunately, I
an
cannot
amazing
allow you
game,
to
and
partake of
because
this
it's so
game.
amazing, you know you want to
I
do
must
everything. And that's what we're
ask
here to
that
do.
you leave.
100% max skills, max social links, true in, everything you can do in one playthrough. This is also going to be spoiler free. So let's begin. The very first thing you can do is on the 12th. Say logic as the correct answer, and you'll gain some knowledge. These small little things are going to be adding up with a later in. It's going to be very helpful. After that, you're going to go to the palace. Pick up as much personas as you can, but we highly suggest a Mandrake and a Pyrojack. The Pyrojack is very useful against the first mini-boss, the Porcelain God. Jumping to the 16th, we're going to be hanging out with our favorite doctor of the Death Arcana. She's very useful throughout the game, but more important later. She's going to be selling our HP and SP items, but right now they're kind of expensive. You don't have a lot of HP, and you're going to find a lot of this stuff in the palace and in the metaverse. So don't worry too much about it. More importantly right now, find SP items. The SP can be used to heal yourself as well as to knock the enemies down so you don't take any damage. On to the next day, we're going to meet another very useful character. This is the merchant. You'll sell your stuff here, you'll buy your weapons, and he is also a future confidant. However, you have to have rank 4 in guts. So just use him as a merchant, and we'll be getting guts very soon. So when we go home, we're going to gain the ability to make items. These items are going to be very useful, and they're going to be helpful both in the palace and in the metaverse. By making these items, we gain proficiency, which is going to be very useful much later. But by maxing our proficiency as fast as we can, we're going to get a lockpick that will never break. An amazing item, and kind of what we're going for. And because of that, we're going to miss out on a few locked chests for the first 2 palaces, but it's okay. There's nothing too important that you're going to miss out. It could be helpful, but we're going to be fine, don't worry. Now the 18th is the official start of the game. It's the first time we can roam as we wish, and from here on out, a lot of this walkthrough is going to be kind of particular. We have to do certain things in certain order that may seem a little odd. And one of the first things we're going to have to do is pick up a few things and rush a bit through Kamoshida's palace. You're going to be fine, which actually might be the hardest step. We only need to go through once, and then we need to pick up his treasure later. So first thing we have to do is we have to go to the library, and we have to pick up a book.
Please head to the exam
We've got to pick
room.
up the Pirate Legend book, which is the Captain Kidd, which will give you guts. These books require 2 sittings to read, so we're going to maximize some of the some moments in time where we have free time and nothing else to do. The underground walkway is the next place we have to go. We have to go gain our part-time job. Now we don't have to do this now, but the sooner we can get it done, the less we have to worry about later. We're going to get all the part-time jobs, and we're going to have to go and work at these places at least 2 times each. The next place we're going to need to go is the underground mall. We're actually going to go to where one of our jobs will be, the flower shop, and we're going to pick up 1 bionutrient. So we need the bionutrient for our houseplant. The houseplant will die if you don't take care of it, and you can buy a cheaper one, but this will give you 2 ticks of kindness for free. As long as you use it on days when it starts dying, you can actually maximize your kindness that way. There's a few stats that are hard to gain, and kindness is going to be one of them. So the next place we need to go to is we need to go to the secondhand shop. This is a very important shop, and this is where we'll eventually pick up a TV as well as a video game system. But for now, we need to have equal parts silk yarn and a tin clasp. One of each will give you 1 lockpick. We need as much lockpicks as we can to gain proficiency, and of course to unlock items. Depending on how well you did the first time you went into Kamoshida's palace, you might actually have enough. You need at least 3 of each. I didn't. I had a horrible luck, so I got a lot more silk yarn than tin clasp. So I had to spend a lot of money. If you don't have to, don't spend extra money for the first part. We'll get to a point where money's not going to be a problem, but for now, money's gonna be a bit tight. So if you can, just pick up what you need. You need at least 3 of each. Once you have what you need, we're going to be walking to the clinic, which is just right around the corner. And obviously we're going to be hanging out with the doctor. We have to walk to the clinic because we can't fast travel to it just yet. Once we can fast travel, it's going to make things so much smoother, and we'll be going where we need to when we need to. From this point on, one of the reasons I had mentioned that you would want to pick up as much personas as you could hold is you need to have the persona match the arcana of your confidant when you talk to them. It's going to help max out the points. Each confidant has a number next to the rank. Once you hit this number, indicated by the little blue music notes when you talk to people, by doing so you gain friendship points basically. By gaining friendship points, you reach the next level, you reach the next cinematic, you gain their next, benefit, you gain their next level. It's going to be very beneficial, and it's going to save days in the future that we're going to need for certain, that you need to have the matching arcana. It may be possible that you have to fuse away something that you might like. It may be possible you have to spend some money to buy a persona that you have already gotten rid of. You will need it. It's going to happen. Just prepare for it. So the confidants in this game actually do something very unique. They actually give you abilities, they give you stat boost. For the doctor, you're going to be getting guts. Hanging out with Shojiro, your benefactor, he's going to give you kindness, and a few others will help you out along the way. It's very useful, and we're going to be using it a lot. When you go home, go into your room, you're going to gain a book. Don't worry about it. It's not an important book, and we'll read it eventually, but just don't worry about it. So the next day in class, you have another quiz. The answer for this one is C, the center line, but there is always this network feature. In the PS4, if you're connected to the internet, you can use the network to see what other people have mentioned. It works, but it will not work during your midterms. It is what it is. Obviously, it's a cheating device, so they kept it real. They're not going to let you cheat in the middle of the midterms. So you'll gain some knowledge, and then we're going to go hang with Ryuji. You will need a Chariot Arcana, because at this we're going to go into the second level, and we do have specific answers that we have to give him. This is the first time this has happened. The reason why we have to give specific answers, but for this one it's I'm counting on you, or you seem pretty excited. We have to give him specific answers to maximize the points. Here we gain 3 musical notes. If I had picked something else, I would have only gained 2 or 0. It is all dependent on your reaction and how you react to them. With the second level, we gain the ability called Baton Pass. Maxing out our party members is really useful for abilities like this. With Baton Pass, if I hit a weakness, I can tag in Ryuji and he will do extra damage, whether it's against something he's already powerful against, or just in general. He's a very physical attacker, so his souped up power attack is really good. When you go home, be sure to give your plant the bio nutrients, and then you need to go read a book. We're going to read a book tonight. But you have to have everybody leave, and you got to go talk to the customers, and then they'll leave, and then you go right here, you read the book, and you're going to read the pirate legend. You're going to gain nothing actually, but you'll gain 1 tick of having read the book. Because tomorrow, we're going to read the book in the very first thing. Because sometimes you gain the ability to, do something on the train, usually read a book. So you always want to have something. And by doing this, we gain 3 points of guts, which is, a lot. that's the benefit of having read the books. When we get to school, we're gonna return our book. We're then gonna pick up the Zorro book, which is gonna be for kindness. We will read it eventually, but we want to have this now because there will be times when we cannot come back here. So today we're actually going to go to Kamoshida's palace, and this is where, again, we're going to have a bit of a difficult time because we have to make it all the way to the end, as far as we can go, in one go. It might be a bit difficult, but there are a few tricks. But the very first thing we have to do is we have to fuse a persona. It's story element, so we are forced to do something. So if you enjoyed a persona, but you're having to fuse them away, I'm sorry. So there are a lot of tricks to the first few palaces, and the main one you need to know is that during the context X menu, where you're hiding in the shadows, the enemy shadows cannot see you at all, like none whatsoever. I will be putting up a full walkthrough of Kamoshida Palace, but just know we made it all the way to the end, and we've moved on to the next day now. Okay, we're gonna just sell everything we don't need. If you have an extra accessory, sell it. We need to give our heavy hitter, which is probably gonna be Ryuji, the strongest weapon they can gain. And we also need to be sure that both you and that Anne stays alive. If you don't have enough money, buy something for yourself. If you didn't find anything in the palace, you know, you're gonna have to buy something for yourself. There is a chest, one of the very first chests you can unlock, which has a golden breastplate that you can sell for a lot of money, and it's very useful for this moment. If you've been looking for some SP items but you haven't found any, there are some in some of the vending machines, namely the red ones. They're really not worth it. 5 SP for 300 yen is... If it's the only thing you need and you have the money, sure, but you want to save all your money right now and they're not worth it. Just sneak around, you know, just do what you need to. Don't worry about it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to just send out the calling card. We're going to end the palace. We're going to end it as soon as we possibly can. Once we send out the calling card, we have no control over anything from now on, or for the next day. It'll auto put us to the next day. It'll show a cutscene. It'll show us confronting him. The only thing we can do is the night before we can make some thieving tools. It is possible here to get 3 proficiency as well as 3 tools. It's not gonna happen. It's not very likely to happen, and you are free to save and reload as much as you want. Just know that 2 is gonna be worth it. 2 is gonna be fine. Don't worry. Now that you have some lockpicks, you can go get some of the chests that you couldn't get earlier. But today, your only goal is to kill Kamoshida. The fight itself is not hard. You just have to be sure to guard. Really, if you guard or debuff, you're gonna be completely fine. So on the 23rd, we do have another quiz question. Now, don't forget, you can always use the network key to see what everybody has said. The answer for today is going to be singing. Even though we have stolen Kamoshida's heart, we cannot progress the story. We cannot progress Anne's confidant rank either. So we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing and progressing what we have done. The Death Arcana, Ryuji's Arcana, and even Sojiro's Arcana. So ignoring the fact that it says the 28th, your answers are going to be, let's not fight. The next one is going to be Calm Down Ryuji. These 2 will give you the most friendship points or companion points or whatever you want to call it. After this, you'll rank up and gain a pretty cool ability. Again, ignoring the misplaced date, you're gonna go hang with Sojiro, and it doesn't matter what you actually say. You're gonna just start his Arcana. So just agree to hang out with him, and at this point, you should know that Sojiro himself is actually one of the harder confidants to max out. The reason why is just he needs so much points. But unlike some of the other confidants, what we're going to be doing is actually not hang out with him, but we're actually going to be gaining the abilities very shortly to make coffee.
Please head to the
At night,
exam
if
room.
we make coffee, Sojiro will come in and say, hey, you're making coffee. You suck at it, but you're making coffee. We'll be using that to gain points, faster, and also be gaining an item as well. Now, Sundays are special in this game. A lot of things happen, and this will be the first time we actually come across these. The first thing you can do is you can go to this smoothie shop and you can buy an item. It's 5k, which is one of the reasons why we saved money. It will give you points in a certain stat each week. Again, we're going to be, every chance we can, we're going to come by this because it doesn't take time. It just takes money. Speaking of money, we are also going to be going to the movies. We don't have to worry about Kamoshida. Everything we have is, we are free to do what we need to do, and the best thing to do right now is to go to the movie because it will also give us a large, massive increase in guts. Now, this only works the first time you go to each movie, and the movies change every couple weeks. One of the last things you can do on Sunday is go to a TV and look at the shopping network, the shopping program. These items that they sell are usually one of a kind. This is the only time you can ever get them. And they're useful. If you have the money for it, go ahead and buy some. If you don't have the money for it, don't worry about it. You don't miss much. And if you will, I will let you know ahead of time. So once everything's all said and done, go ahead and read your Zoro book. We're gonna finish it tomorrow on the train. We will then return it. Today's quiz is an odd one, especially if you do not know Japanese, because you actually cannot use the network functionality on this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to answer no, your actions are wrong first, and on the next one you're going to say conviction that you are right. So after class, go ahead and head to the library and return your book, and we're going to pick up today the Alluring Dancer. It's Carmen's book, and it will help us with our charm. And also, if you look a little bit in front, you will see one of our future companions. She hangs out at the table. After that, be sure you have a Death Arcana persona, and then go hang out with the doctor. We are going to have 2 answers that we have to worry about. The answers are going to be, I have a bad heart,
Please head to the exam room.
and I agree. Using those 2, you're going to be gaining the most points. Now remember, you can only continue the doctor's social link or the confidant rank if you have a level 2 in guts, which we just got the other day. If you're following along, you will have no worries. If you're not, you have to be at least level 2, so you'll have to come back later. But either way, the answers again are I have a bad heart and I agree. Once we head back to LeBlanc, if we go outside, we're going to find this room. Now, there is a vending machine, and it does allow you to find some of the harder to find SP healing items. They are cheaper than what we found so far, but it's not necessary. You're only going to be gaining 5 SP, which is going to be 1 attack, and it might save you, but it's not worth it right now. So by going in here on certain days, mainly Monday, Thursdays, and on rainy days, you actually gain more charm. And by doing this, our charm will now be at level 2, which we can now start the job, the flower job. On the 26th, the main stat we're going to be working towards is kindness. We need a certain amount of, we need level 2 of kindness to continue Anne's confidant rank. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this location. At this location is a restaurant. Now the restaurant, you can buy food, obviously. You can also study. Today what we're wanting to do is we're going to want to buy the nostalgic steak, and by both studying and buying the nostalgic steak, we gain an amount of kindness. After we've had our fill, we're gonna go back home and we're gonna head back and we're gonna hang out with Sojiro. Be sure you have a Hierophant persona, because at this point we're gonna need to start gaining the friendship points, because again, he is one of the harder confidants to rank up with. Now there's gonna be a few instances where he's gonna ask a question. We're gonna need to say making coffee, and then later, after the shady guy leaves,
Please head to the exam
that
room.
guy seems suspicious. There will be another one, and the response will be, I want the ladies to love me. And those three combined will give you the most points. Now, we should be at level 2 on both the confidant rank of Sojiro as well as the kindness. And now we can start hanging out with Anne to increase her confidant rank. We have another quiz today, so more ways to gain knowledge. An odd question, but the answer for this one is going to be 4. Again, use the network if you ever feel stumped or ever think I'm wrong. The answer for this one is going to be 4. Chariot persona, because we're going to be hanging out with Ryuji today. Now, we won't actually gain anything, at all. We won't have any dialogue, no nothing, but by having the persona, we will still gain more points than if we did not have it. So when we go home, what we're going to want to do is we're actually going to be making coffee. Again, by making coffee, we're going to be raising Shojiro's rank. We're going to be gaining an item, which is one of the easiest and best SP items we have for the foreseeable future, as well as some trivia that we don't need because we have everything we need. We're going to again hang out with Ryuji because he's really the only person that we can hang out with today. So he's going to take us to a ramen shop that's off the beaten path, and we will be able to take other people here later. Today, however, we're going to, when asked to respond, we're going to say, are you worried? And either of these will work, both, but you're doing great, or I know how you feel, will give you the most bang for your buck, as long as you have the chariot persona with you. Now, because we're maxing his rank so high so fast, he's going to be very useful to have in our party at all times. He's going to give us the added benefit of a second hit if we don't quite do enough damage. Added help. He's going to help us with negotiations. He's going to be doing a lot of stuff as we continue to max out his rank. And he does become a bit more powerful just overall. Because it's Thursday night, we are gonna go to the bathhouse to get our extra boost in charm. On the 29th, nothing much is actually going to happen. We're going to go hang out with Ryuji during the daytime. We're going to take him to the ramen shop, which we just went to the other day. and we will gain points, again, by having our chariot persona, to further help the next time we hang out with him. So even though it's not a rank up, you do want to say that you really love ramen. This is how you max out the points on this occasion, by bringing them here. You say, I'm in love. When we head home, we're just going to continue to make coffee. Again, very much like just hanging out with Ryuji today. We would need a lot, we still need a lot of points to help with Sojiro. So we may as well gain an item and a few less points, as opposed to trying to max them out as without the item. Since we managed to find a spot on the train, we're going to continue to read our Carmen book. When we get to school, we're going to be having another quiz. Today's answer is going to be wonder, child, and a prodigy. This is another one of those days where you don't have the ability to use the network. So, again, wonder, child, and prodigy. Now, at this point, I would like to take a small break. We're reaching the end of the month, and we don't have much to do. There is a lot of stuff in Persona. I am simply doing the bare bones for this walkthrough. Off camera, I'm talking to people, I'm doing a lot of other stuff, but on here, I'm not doing that. And if you're following this to the letter, I highly suggest that you do spend some time talking to people, finding things. Because after this first month, the first month in particular is just kind of strict, but everything else is is more flexible. You're gonna have a lot more money. You're gonna have a lot more items. You're gonna have a lot more everything. So here right now is a lottery shop. I never made mention to it. I've used it, but I never made mention to it because it's not important to this walkthrough. But there again are a lot of things in the Persona world that you should find out yourself. Now, as we continue to hang out with the doctor, none of the questions that are asked of us really matter until the final one. And either I don't mind or I need the medicine will give you the most points for today. As always, as you continue to hang out with the doctor, your guts will increase. Once we head home, we will be ranking up with Sojiro today. And be sure you have a Hierophant Arcana. And when prompted, the answers that you need to say are medium fine and is it trouble. Everything else, say what you wish, you'll gain no difference in points. After this, you'll be rank 3. So this will be the last day of this month. Once we go to bed, it will be the beginning of May. And for the beginning of May, I will have to put it into the next episode of the month of May walkthrough. This first month was very tutorial, very hand-holding. So there were a couple days where there was nothing we could really do. There are some days like that are story-driven, and we will do our best to work around it. Ultimately, I really hope that you enjoyed this, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be continuing this series, and of course, leave a comment. Let me know what I could do better, what you did like, what you didn't like, and at the end of the night, I hope you enjoyed yourself and enjoy your game. I really hope you enjoy Persona because I love this series, and I just want you to enjoy it as much as I do. Have a good night.